everybody. Christian Ballard here at Ballard Sports Media. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Love and appreciate you guys for tuning in. I love all the support that we get here on the channel. Let's keep it going. Let's keep growing, as I like to say. But today we're going to do another team preview. I'm going to try to knock these out. Again, we're trying to get these watch hours up. We're in the middle of July. I'd like to get it by the end of the year. I don't know if that's going to happen. I have faith that it could, but if you say it will happen with something like this and you don't work towards it, then you say it will and then it doesn't, you look stupid like an idiot, right? Anyway, we're looking at Iowa Hawkeyes today here in 2026. An interesting team in the Big Ten, I think. I am not as high on them this year as I was last year. I was willing to make a bet last off season with Uncle Lou for $10 that he never paid me for. So shout out to Lou. I love you, buddy, but what the hell happened to my $10? Anyway, they went last year. They went 9-4 with a bowl victory over Vanderbilt, and the ReliaQuest Bowl looked really good there. Really close game. They won their last three games, counting that bowl game. They beat Michigan State, Nebraska. They played some close games. Here's the thing: is like they played some really close games last year with Oregon and USC. They took Indiana to the wire at 20-15. They lost that homecoming game. All of their losses were one possession losses. Go back to the Corn Cyhawk series, week two, every year, obviously, with Iowa State. That was 16-13 in Ames, Iowa. Rest in peace, Jeff Webster, at Jack Trice Stadium. Yes, 16-13. So I'm looking forward to the season for Iowa. I think they could be a legitimate contender and team. I think that this is going to be a really good year for them. They bring quite a bit back. Um, and I don't know. I keep picking the same record for a lot of different teams. I'm not trying to be accurate on all of them, and you're not going to be. I just kind of look at the schedule. I give my 2 cents on it. We pick each game basically. I mean, I don't really give specific losses, but I kind of look at each game, like visually look at the schedule, how it sets up and everything, and then I'm like at the end, I'm like, okay, well, you know, what's their ceiling? What's at most for this team? You look at this. You look at this roster. A lot of depth for Iowa this year. They got a couple different transfers. They got some guys out of state, in state. A lot of guys in Iowa, Michigan. A guy. Shout out to Rashad Godfrey, a third-year defensive back. Actually, from my hometown here in Florida, in Plant City, from a school called Armwood. I've heard of it. I've never been by there necessarily. Um, it's it's on the other side of town from me, I think. But so shout out to him. They got Jacob Wallace as a second-year guy, defensive back from Maryland. Um, as far as some of the key guys from last year, they had Mark Gronowski was number 16 at quarterback. He's gone. He's now with the Dolphins. You still have Hank Brown from Nashville, Tennessee, formerly at Auburn as well. Had a touchdown and a pick last year, just never really saw much time. He should be the go-to quarterback for for Iowa. And behind him, you probably would go with Jeremy Heklinski, who was a freshman from Marietta last year. Um, you did have Kamari Moulton, was number 28 at um, at running back. Kamari Moulton from Fort Lauderdale was a sophomore last year, 5'9", 205. Had 5 touchdowns on the ground, 878 yardage wise. So, and looking at their roster, just trying to find him real quick, number 28, they do still have him. They got some incoming freshmen too. Eli Campman is a defensive back. Noah Daniel was recruited, both guys out of Iowa. Another defensive back, linebacker Brayton Alford, David Faison from Marion, Iowa, is a defensive lineman. I mean, they're recruiting great too. Don't have necessarily pulled up where they finished in recruiting, but they're kind of mid tier when it comes to recruiting in the Big Ten, which kind of puts them a little lower than you want nationally. But overall, I think they're in a really good position. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at their schedule. First, I'll say they went 9-4 last year, 6-3 in the Big Ten, and two of their losses were back to back in November. So, like going into November, they only had two losses to begin with, and they had a legitimate shot at the playoffs. But to lose close games with Oregon 18-16, and then at USC 26-21. And by the way, they did not have more than one possession when it came to losses. Iowa State was 16-13. Indiana was 20-15, and I just mentioned the Oregon and USC games. Won their last three, counting the ReliaQuest Bowl and Tampa against Vanderbilt. That being said, let's go ahead and pull up 2026 and get into it. I got to hear from you guys in the comments on this as well. So I want some feedback on Iowa. If there's any Hawkeye fans out there, we'd love to hear from you guys. So they open up with Northern Illinois, pretty good group of five team in recent years. Was able to beat Notre Dame in an upset once a couple years ago, but puts together good, you know, regular season records and everything. I'm going to assume they win that game. We'll come back and pick some of these. Um, Iowa State in the Iowa Corn Cyhawk series. That's going to be a night game on September 12th on Peacock and NBC. Northern Iowa. And then you get into Big Ten play at Michigan, come back, play Ohio State, at Washington. This might be the toughest Big Ten 3-game stretch in the country. Probably one of the more tougher 3-game stretches in the country, period. When you look at where Iowa sits compared to these teams, and there's no bye week in between. They finally get another bye week, or finally get their first bye week, I should say, on October 17th. And then they go to Minnesota. They come back, play Wisconsin for homecoming. They play at Northwestern, Purdue, Illinois on the road, and then they play Nebraska on rivalry weekend on that Black Friday at noon. They play that at home at Kinnick Stadium. And then if they play their cards right, like I always say, Big Ten championship in December. So do I think they could make the Big Ten title? I think they could, but I have a feeling that because they play all these Big Ten teams, I like them at a good record. I'm going to go really high here. But I feel like the losses are going to come within the Big Ten. When you look at certain opponents, Iowa State loses Matt Campbell to Penn State. I think they take a huge step back. They also lost Rocco Beck. We'll look at Iowa State some other day, I'm sure. I don't think we've previewed them yet, but um, at Michigan. Michigan brings in Cal Whittingham, Bryce Underwood at quarterback, guys like that. A lot loaded on defense too. Ohio State with Julian Sayin, Ryan Day, we know about them. Probably going to be a top 2, top 3 preseason favorite going into the season in 2026. Washington, again, another team I haven't looked at. I like Jed Fish. I think he's doing great, replacing Kalen DeBoer there, who's now at Alabama, of course. There's so much to love about this schedule. I would say there's so much to love about the teams on this schedule. I don't know if I was going to match up too well against all of them. But they should be able to beat teams. I think they could beat Minnesota, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Purdue. That's 4 wins there. Illinois was really, really good last year. I think you could probably win that game. You could also probably lose that game. Oh, hold on. Let me go here and go back to that schedule. I almost clicked on Illinois' schedule. Nebraska, I think they could get, but they could also. It's the thing with Iowa is like they could flip or flop this. Not to be confused with the home show, but I mean they could flip it around and do better this season, or they could just absolutely flop, crap the bed, say goodbye, and we just don't talk about them. At most, I could see them getting 9 wins. I would go at most 9-3. I do think that they're in a really good position for that. I don't know if that's what they're going to end up doing as a whole. If I had to guess, they'd go 7-5, 8-4 at the end of the day. But I don't see them getting 10 wins out of this schedule. I see it coming close with everything they got coming in, what they got coming back. Kirk Ferentz is still the head coach. He's a hell of a coach and recruiter too. Great defensive mind. And the offense, anyways, in the past decade, when we watch Iowa football, we think defense. Lately, the last 2 or 3 years, I've seen great improvement from the offense. I expect to see that going forward and even this year in 2026. Could be wrong, could be lying, however you want to put it, but I would go 9-3 for the Hawkeyes um, in the Big Ten for 2026. Definitely got to hear from you guys in the chat, in the comments. What do you think about Iowa? What am I missing about Iowa? We went through their roster a little bit. Again, they got a lot of good guys, big guys on the O line. They got a 6'5" and second year guy, Lucas Allgaier. Kale Winter is 6'3". He's a fourth year player. Leighton Jones is a fourth year player, 6'2", 228. I mean, you keep going with that, but um, yeah, I think that I really think that Iowa and Kirk Ferentz have a really good future ahead of them, at least for this year. I like Phil Parker. He's been around a little while as the defensive coordinator. He's one of the best in the Big Ten, maybe even in the country. Tim Lester has been around a couple years as the offensive coordinator. He's turned it around, and we'll see what he can put together offensively this year for the Hawkeyes. But definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments. I love you. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. God bless. Roll Tide, and we'll see you next time here at BSM. And good luck to Iowa.